seminar. So the last time, what did we speak about? Does anyone remember? We spoke about defining your target market, figuring out what your brand, what? Okay. Okay, that's fine. That's okay. People can be upset. If people are upset, then they'll feel FOMO, and next time they'll actually show up. So, because the recording didn't work. That's okay. We'll have to do it again. We'll have to do it again. We'll have to do it again. So competitive analysis, marketing segmentation, and creating a great brand. That's what we spoke about last time. And people were like, oh my God, it's amazing, amazing, amazing stuff, which was great. And that's why the people that missed it, they were like, WTF, right? Like, what's going on? I can't believe I missed that. Now we're going to talk more about generating leads. Once you have a great brand and you're ready to go out there, one of the hardest things for me as a business owner was when I felt like I didn't have a good business to sell, when I felt like I wasn't confident in my brand, when I felt like I didn't have the right message. And I had a lot of self-limiting beliefs in my head that I would say things like, why should anyone want to talk to me? So if you have a good foundation for your day, like you're really taking care of yourself and you have a tremendous amount of energy and you have the right amount of water and you get on the treadmill and you put the right stuff in your head and all that stuff, then you're going to have a much better day. And the same thing with your business. If you have your brand planned out properly, you're going to have a much better thing. And that's why it's important to do goal setting, to get together with somebody and do goal setting and really plan out your year. I'm going to be meeting with my wife in the next 2 weeks, and we're going to plan out her year. It's the first time we'll ever actually have a written strategic plan for her business, because she gets very overwhelmed with the kids and everything that's going on. You need to have a plan. So if you don't have a plan, first takeaway is get your partner, get your coach, get somebody, spend an hour to 3 hours with them, even if it's over the phone, virtually, and literally make a plan. Figure out what you're going to be doing, how you're going to be doing. That's the best way to guarantee that you're going to get to success. If you guys don't set yourself up for success, the chances of you getting for success are going to be random. It's going to be a chance. And who knows what's going to happen. But if you have an actual plan every single day, you know what you do to get your energy up, you take care of yourself, you fill up your own cup. You know, when you're making Havdalah, they say you fill up your cup so much that what should happen? It should spill over, right? So the idea is you are your cup. You got to fill up your own cup. No one's going to fill it for you. No one's going to fill up. You got to fill up your own cup all the way, so much so that when it spills, the blessings that everybody takes off to put in their pocket and their neck and everywhere else comes from the plate that comes out of your cup. No one else gets to drink from your cup. The ladies definitely can't drink from the cup because they grow mustaches, right? That's the saying, right? So you want to make sure that everyone takes from the bottom. Somehow when they take from the bottom, they don't grow mustaches. So what you want to do is you want to make sure that everybody's taking from your plate, not from your cup. To take from your cup, they're going to grow mustaches, and everyone's going to walk around your house with a bunch of mustaches. Things are not going to be good, okay? So you want to make sure you fill up your own cup. That's the most important thing. Personal development was the last thing I was going to talk about, but I want to start with that because you have to start with the end in mind. That's one of the principles that Stephen Covey writes in his book, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. Now, are you guys planning on taking notes? Of course. Now, let me ask you a question. Do you have pens and papers for people to take notes? Yes. So this would be a great time for everyone to take a pen and a paper. He's going to get pens and papers for everyone because I want you to write things down. Most importantly, I want you to write things that you're going to do. Ideas are only worth the paper they're written on. And often you're not writing them on $100 bills. You're writing ideas on napkins. And you throw out the napkin because I've written notes that are not actionable. The most important types of notes that you want to write down are things that you want to remember so that you can do something about it. Okay? Does that make sense? So begin with the end in mind. If you guys plan on setting goals and having a goal-setting session with your coach or with your partner, write down goal-setting session with coach and partner, something that you have to schedule. If it doesn't get scheduled, it doesn't get done. No one ever told me that I had to sit down and create plans for the next year. I thought that planning was a waste of time. I thought you just have to do. But we all know that you have to measure twice or 3 times or 4 times before you start cutting. So plan. The more you spend time planning, they say rest, plan, and then execute. So rest, plan, then execute. And that's how the top athletes are successful. They spend a tremendous amount of time relaxing and resting and taking care of themselves. And then they prepare, and 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 then they go out and they win the game. And that's how the best ones do it. And most people, they don't do that. They're not sleeping at night. They get up late as possible. They're busy with their kids. They throw a Danish in the system, and they hope for the best. They get a sugar high, and they hope for the best. Yeah, of course, they'll throw in some davening. Right? We just daven quickly. We can't even think because we're so busy in our phone. We're checking our email and the whole thing. We end up not having a life. So I want you guys to really have an intentional life. When you have intention in your day, and you get up in the morning and you go for a 3-mile run, or you get up and you journal 2,000 words, or you meditate, you spend time really thinking about what you want to create in your day, and you're like the first person up, and you're really taking care of yourself, and you have your cup of coffee, your cup of tea, whatever it is that you drink in the morning. I personally I like drinking at least 16 ounces of water right when I wake up, because that really gets me energized, because a 5% drop in hydration is a 30% drop in energy. Welcome. Please take a pen and a pad.
I think in a year from now, if I ask everyone what's the one thing they're not from this whole entire program, I was going to say 5%.
And for those of you that came late, I have 4 more books. They're $20 each if you want them. The people that came here early already got theirs. So if you want to buy a book, let me know. It's called High Energy Secrets, and I will sign it for you as well. You can buy it on Amazon for $17. You can buy it here today for $20, and I will sign it for you. Okay? Look at this. Social proof. People already have the book. Shh. Don't tell anybody. Okay? But there's only 4 left. So, and there's exactly 5 people. So one of you are not going to walk out with a book today. So one of you are going to have to buy it on Amazon. Okay, so what are we talking about today? We are talking about generating leads. So the first thing I want to say is that there's a platform, a technology. A lot of people get confused with technology. Social media, technology. A technology is only worth the strategy that you have behind the technology. We all know that we go on Facebook, you can waste a lot of time. You go on Instagram, you can waste months, years on Instagram just going through photos and like doing things and just randomly posting things. If you have the right strategy, you will be successful. So what is your strategy for LinkedIn? If you're in the B2B world, and I know some of you here have a component of their business that are B2B, if not all of you are somewhat B2B, right? Who's B2B here? Who has a B2B business? Okay, it looks like every single person in this room has B2B or has a component that's B2B. If B2B is important to your business, then relationships are important to your business, okay? That's fact. If B2B is important to your business, relationships are important to your business. So LinkedIn is a tool that allows you to build relationships. LinkedIn is a tool that allows you to build relationships. Now, most people are not using it effectively. Who here is literally logging into LinkedIn every single day? Raise your hand if you log into LinkedIn every single day. Okay. Now, who here is posting on LinkedIn every day? Okay. So the reason why there are 500 million people on LinkedIn, okay, that's a lot of people. They're all professionals. They're there to network. That's why they're there. Out of the 500 million people, 40% of them are logging in every single day. Okay, like 40% of this room, like around, is logging in every day, right? 40% of the room raise their hands. And when I do this with 500 people in the room, 40% of the room raise their hands when I say who logs in daily. It's crazy. It's like a crazy phenomenon. 40% of people are logging in every single day. That means you have the attention of many, many people. Hundreds of millions of people that are logging in daily.
Isn't social media more?
Well, Facebook has probably more than 2 billion people on it. But the people that are on Facebook are who? They're just regular people. And the mindset that people have on Facebook with the F is for their friends. With the F is for their family.
Facebook will be more B2C.
B2C, right? They're there just to relax, to have, with the F, fun, right? Facebook with the F, fun. LinkedIn is more about building relationships, is more about thought leadership, it's more about personal development, it's all more about business growth, it's more about getting goals done and things like that. So when people are going, they're looking for inspiration. When they go into Facebook, they're looking for funny things, for friends, for family, and all the things with the F, okay? So I want you to think about the mindset that somebody's going in, who it is, and what their mindset is. Now, I'll tell you something else. When people go on LinkedIn, they're allowed, I know people on social media like to stalk their ex. People do this. They stalk their ex, right? So on Facebook, it's not okay to stalk your ex while you're in your company stalking your ex on Facebook. It's not okay. But on LinkedIn, it's perfectly okay to stalk your ex. Because on LinkedIn, it's professional. And that's what people do. People go, you can spend your whole day on LinkedIn. If you're an executive, you can be on LinkedIn all day. Nobody will question you. But if you're on Instagram and Facebook, it's not going to be, right? You can't do that as much. Does that make sense to you? In your business, if you're a sales executive, you can be on LinkedIn all day. But if you're on Facebook, you're going to get fired. So people are spending a tremendous time on LinkedIn. The average person spends about 8 hours a day on social media. 8 hours a day. So think about an executive that's checking their phone or their stuff 160 times a day. They're spending 8 hours a day, and they're consuming content. And you're not posting. No one in this room is posting every day, except for me. I post every single day. Why? Because I want 1,000 people to see me every single week. But not just any people. I don't want to go viral, by the way. I had a video that got 250,000 people that saw it about a week ago. I don't care about that. That doesn't help me. That makes a lot of noise in my world. What I want is I want the right 1,000 people to see me over and over and over and over and over and over. I want 1,000 people to see me 1,000 times every year. 3 times a day. Shachas min chamayrav. I want them to see me 3 times a day on LinkedIn. What happens when 1,000 people that are your target audience, right? For you, maybe store owners. Maybe for you, who is your target audience? Store owners. Who's your target audience? Supermarket owners. Who's your target audience?
Any business that travels.
Okay, travelers, right? People that are constantly traveling, speakers, whatever, salesmen, speakers. Who's your target audience? Grocery executives. Who's your target audience? Okay, same thing, people that travel. What about you? Who's your target audience?
Developers.
Could you imagine these developers or travelers or supermarket owners or store owners are logging into LinkedIn every day and you are connected to them because you proactively found out of the 500 million people, the 1,000 that are your target audience and you connected with them, and 40% of them are logging in every single day and they see you every single day. Is there value to that? Yes, there's value to that. Even if you're not promoting yourself, even if you're not saying, buy my yarmulkes, or buy my clothing, or buy my whatever, even if you're not saying that every single day, but you're just in front of them, you're sharing a quote, you're sharing information, you put a photo, you do whatever, they know that what you do already, because they know who you are, because you built a relationship with them. Now, it's about staying in front of them every single day. There's no other way to stay in front of them every day, proactively in a professional way.
Do you personally post your content every single day?
Every single, I spend 15 minutes a day proactively on LinkedIn. That's my goal. 15 minutes a day. I have people doing things for me, but when I am committed to spending 15 minutes a day on LinkedIn every day, posting something of value. I have so much content that I've posted over the past 3 years that I can create a calendar and just have Buffer do it on its own, which is an app that allows you to update your social media, or Hootsuite, or I could just hire an admin for a few dollars an hour to literally do it for me, because they could just take my content and repurpose it la'olam vayed, with the stuff I did in the past 3 years, just alone with the amount of content that I did in the past 3 years. By the way, in the past 30 days, I've produced probably 160 pieces of content on LinkedIn that's unique content. So I can take that content and repurpose it for the next 3 years, and it'll be enough information for the people to just be busy with. Just to get an idea of how much, and again, 15 minutes a day. It doesn't take that much time to put something up.
It's not 15 minutes a day, it's your time producing that content.
The time producing the content does, if you plan in advance, if you spend 90 minutes planning out a 13-week content calendar, once you know what to do, it takes you 15 minutes to do it. The problem is when you don't know what to do, you stand in front of the screen and you have writer's block. And then you start procrastinating, and then you get on Facebook, and then you write whatever, and then a month passes and you're still on the computer and you did nothing.
What kind of content are you talking about?
Look at my content and you'll see. You'll look at my content, a 1,300 character post that tells a story about something that happened that's valuable to my target audience. A photo, a video, go.
You take 90 minutes
Every quarter, and I'll plan what I'm going to be doing. But I have enough stuff going on in my life. I do about 12 calls every day until I get to 20 calls a week, and then I stop. Just speaking to people that I'm connected to on LinkedIn. And by the way, I have somebody reaching out and setting me up with that. I don't do that myself. I set up the strategy for it, and then I hand it off to somebody else. And I want to do 20 calls a week, 80 calls a month. That's what I want to do, proactively.
Like new people?
No, I have 2,000 people that are my target audience that are being constantly communicated with by somebody, 100 at a time, and trying to get them on the phone with me.
So you connected them via LinkedIn?
Via LinkedIn proactively.
And then somebody reaches out to actually
There's a set of messages
right.
called if you go to LinkedIn and look up hashtag Operation DM, you'll see what I'm up to. I've been publicizing this for the past couple of months. I've already generated probably $30,000 in new business in the past, I would say, 6 weeks or so. And next year I have a $2 million pipeline that I'm going to be closing just from Operation DM, just reaching out to these 2,000 people, these 2,000 human beings. There's a company called Adorama who signed up. I don't know if you guys are familiar with them. Adorama Picks, the CEO. We sent him a message. He was one of my 2,000 people. He has 50 to 200 employees. He's like, come down. All the executives sat around the table. He was there. And he's like, I love this guy. I see him every single day. He's amazing. I want to go on LinkedIn. I want to rock and roll. Every single person said, no, we don't think we should do this. We don't think you should do this. We don't think you should do this. We don't think you should do this. And he's the CEO sitting there. He's like, what is going on here? None of my team want me to do this. I was like, all right, don't worry. You guys are like literally idiots if you don't do this. And I came in with passion. I told them what they need to do, and I walked out. Because the biggest component of their business is B2B. He called me up the next day. He's like, we're doing it. We're doing it. I don't care. We're doing it. We're getting it done. And he became a client. And he's going to be very successful from the project. And everyone's going to turn around in his company and be like, holy crap, I can't believe it. Not only that, one of the co-founders reached out to me for his business, a separate business. So it's turning into like multiple avenues of business because it really works. This stuff really works. And this is not, some people say, Joe, it works for you because you're social or because you're smart or because you're creative or whatever it is. No, it works for everyone that's willing to put themselves out there for your target market. It doesn't just work for me. By the way, 6 years ago, I had pictures of cats on my social media. I was afraid. I had pictures of an apple. I don't know if you remember this, but I used to be 265 pounds. By the way, if you want to know how I lost the weight and kept it off, you can buy this book. It's only $20 today. I have them over there, right, for the reminder, and I'll sign it for you. So I used to be afraid. I used to be afraid of public speaking. I used to say, I don't write. It doesn't take 15 minutes to write. Of course, it doesn't take 15 minutes to write. You have nothing to write about. I have no idea what to write about. But now that I have a clear plan and I have unlimited amounts of things that I can write about because I've been planning and planning and planning and planning, I have over 150 articles that I wrote myself on LinkedIn. Go read them. It'll probably take you a few months to read all of them.
So I don't know if you're going to get to this. I'm very interested in hearing this. There's posting, and then there's making sure your post gets seen by the people who want to see them. How do you make sure that your post gets seen by them? In other words,
The algorithm will do that for you, and I'll tell you in a second. What do you want?
My first question was based on one, another.
Okay, go. I want to answer both at the same time.
So
Go.
you're saying you set out a calendar, right? Of everything that you're going to post. Now, are you setting out a calendar of things that you're going to post just so that you should have, a time and you should sort of have like a say there? Or is there like an actual, is there some type of progression of what you're doing? So let's say on Sunday I'll post about X, and then on Monday I'll post about Y, and there is a connection
Both.
to X and Y, and I'll
Both.
get them at the end.
Both. A combination of both. Depends on your marketing funnel. We're going to get into what the funnel looks like.
Okay.
We're going to get into what a marketing funnel is and how to work your funnel and how to create a funnel. But to answer your question is, Mondays are inspirational days. That's when people need inspiration. On Tuesdays, it's more engaging. People want to get engaged. On Wednesdays, it's more informational. On Thursdays, I'll post an article because the articles on Thursdays get the most views. So in terms of getting it viewed, getting the most views, it has to do with basically two things. Number one is posting. Number two is engaging. So I engage people. I'll mention people. I listed 30 CEOs that I want to have dinner with in the next 90 days. And I posted their names there. And the only reason they saw it is because they got tagged in the post. And they all replied, when are we doing this? This is amazing, whatever. And I'm going to be having dinner with people that I already know for 5 years, right? People that see me every single day. For years they've been seeing me at events and all over the place. And these are very, very close relationships. But if I don't go to dinner with my top relationships, if you don't take your top clients out to dinner or lunch or drinks or whatever it is, you're not building a relationship with them. You have to build a relationship. I'm not saying build a relationship with 30,000 people. I'm saying pick your top 10 clients, pick your top 20 potentials, and build an authentic, real relationship with them.
These people you already had a relationship with, that
Correct.
you tagged them?
And I tagged some of them. I didn't have such a great relationship with, but I want to have a better relationship. Like there's a new speaker that had me on his podcast. He has 250,000 downloads a month on his podcast. I joined the National Speakers Association. It's pretty hard to get in there. You have to be able to do 50 speaking engagements a year. Like it's a whole complicated, 20 speaking engagements a year to make a certain amount of money per year, every single year, off speaking, and you have to prove it, and you have to show them. It's like a whole thing, right? So I joined it. I was able to qualify for it. And I met him. I got onto his podcast. We schmoozed. I said, dude, I want to get to know you. I want to know how you're doing 7 figures a year speaking. How are you doing $1 million just with your voice, getting out and speaking and doing training things? I want to learn how to do that. He's like, let's have dinner. Not let's have dinner. I tagged him in a post and we're having dinner. It's in the books already. Even if I have to drive to the end of New Jersey to meet with him to figure out what he's doing. Because you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. So think about who you're spending time with. Who are you spending time virtually? Who are you spending time in person? So I want you to think about those things. And in terms of getting posts, engagement is the key.
No, again,
Also messaging.
getting them in front of, in other words, how do you make sure that the video you post is...
LinkedIn takes care of that. When you're tagging...
Let's just use this the IP button level. So you want people involved, and they want to be in front of store owners. They don't care if they're...
When you mention a store owner, the store owner sees your stuff. Chances are they'll like it. When they like it, they're training the algorithm.
One second. So you're saying they should go on and collect the hashtags, whatever, their names, and then...
Not collect, it's one of your connections.
Do those hashtags work?
What?
Do the hashtags work? It's
They
on
do.
Instagram,
Well,
it
not
says
everyone
you
is
want
a
to copy it.
They do, and I'll tell you how they work.
Not everyone's a connection.
I could turn this into a full-blown LinkedIn seminar right now and get into the nitty-gritties of this, but I think you guys need to learn more about how the algorithm works by starting to use it 15 minutes a day. I can get into the technical ways of how to connect and what to do and how to message, but if you follow my content, I literally have probably 50 hours of content just in the past 90 days that you can be busy with if you read my articles and look at my posts and my videos.
I'm just wondering, like, I can't imagine any of my shops, my retail shops being on LinkedIn.
You can ask them. Ask them, do you go on LinkedIn every once in a while? Find out. Search for them on LinkedIn, see if they're on there. Search for the owners on LinkedIn. See, I don't know, maybe 40% of them are. Maybe 10% of them are. Maybe you take your top 10 business owners that are the most savvy, the most networked, that are spending the most money with you, and they happen to be on LinkedIn, and maybe find 10 more like that.
If not, is there like another reason?
I would have a conversation with them and ask them where they spend their time. Are they on Instagram? Maybe they're on Instagram. Are they on? Okay, if they are on Instagram and you can network with them on Instagram, then you can use Instagram in a B2B way, and I could talk to you about that one-on-one. But I'm telling you right now that LinkedIn, there's a lot of them that are going to be on LinkedIn. You just have to survey them and ask them if they do use it, if they log in once in a while, or if they log in every day. And if they do, it's very valuable. Instagram people are there just to kind of like look at photos. You're not going to be messaging people as much and engaging, and they don't have a mindset of, I want to do networking. I want to build relationships.
And if you do have that mindset,
You can do it, but that's not why people go on there to begin with. The premise of that is not that. When people are on LinkedIn, the premise of that is they're there to network. They're there for you to have a virtual coffee with them or a call with them. They're there for that reason. They're there to network. It's social networking for professionals. Instagram, if you message somebody, why are you annoying me? I'm on Instagram. Like I'm with my kids. I'm like posting pictures of whatever. Like it's not necessarily. But if it's a business on Instagram, you can network also, but it's not meant for that. It's not officially like the purpose of that. Instagram's purpose is to have pretty photos, and so LinkedIn's purpose is to connect people. That's the purpose of the social media, and that's why people go on there. But again, it could work on Instagram for your guys' businesses. I could see it working. Probably not so much for the travel industry or for the construction trade. Okay. Wherever you spend time, you'll have success. The question is, where will you have more success? There are more CEOs that are active on LinkedIn, 10 times more CEOs or 100 times more CEOs that are active on LinkedIn with a networking mindset than on Instagram, specifically for the travel business, especially the guys that travel. Think about that. Just think about it. Again, I can do a full-blown seminar on LinkedIn now, but you guys are going to miss out on all the other things that I want to teach you today. So I want to keep it light on LinkedIn. I just want you to be aware of the power of it. I want you to think about creating your own plan for it. And remember, there are 3 things you have to do. If you're spending 15 minutes a day on LinkedIn, there are 3 things you have to do. Number 1, you have to post. Number 2 is you have to engage. And number 3 is you have to message people. Those are the 3 things you want to be doing every single day.
Engage in a message?
No. Engage means you're commenting on other people's posts, you're liking stuff, and you're mentioning people. Messaging means you're going to their profile, you're pressing send message, and you say, hey, what up, yo? Check out Joe's new rap video. He just posted it today on Sunday morning after he went for a crazy run. He's insane. And buy his new book, High Energy Secrets. It's amazing. I got a copy. You get it? That type of stuff. And if you want the exact copy of what to write, I can send you. Okay, does this make sense?
We do want to get into nitty-gritty. Are there any tools, books, video seminars you recommend?
I have a seminar coming up. So I have a virtual seminar coming up about LinkedIn specifically, how to create a step-by-step strategy. If you go to my summary, you can click on the link there in my summary. It's called the LinkedIn Authority Blueprint, and you can go there and we spend an hour together discussing the exact 3-step process of creating a strategy on LinkedIn. So if you want to do that, and also you can send me a direct message and I'll send you more. And also I have tons of articles about how to get recommendations on LinkedIn. By the way, recommendations on LinkedIn are amazing. They're testimonials. Think about it. The best way to get testimonials from your store owners of how you helped them grow their business or what you did for them is on LinkedIn. I have over 170 recommendations from people on LinkedIn, and 75, of course, and 75 of them I got this year alone. So the rest of them I got over the past 10 years. So every single year I have a goal to increase the amount of recommendations that I have on LinkedIn. Do people read recommendations? I don't know. Do they? People tell me that they read mine and they're like, oh my God, before I want to hire you as a speaker, I want to see, are you a good speaker? Go look at my recent recommendation about what people said about me. Before people want to hire me as a marketing consultant, as an agency, they want to see what a U.S. Navy SEAL said about me, who's also the CEO of one of the fastest growing companies in the U.S., who's also published 7 books, and he featured me in one of his books. Go see what he said about me. He follows me on LinkedIn and on Facebook and on Instagram, but LinkedIn is very, very powerful, okay?
And it's 15 minutes a day enough to do these 3 things?
At least do that. This is the minimum that you want to be doing. You don't want to spend your whole day. Remember, many of you are also solo entrepreneurs, or you're running your business and you have many different hats you need to wear. So you want to prioritize at least doing that. If you're getting an ROI from it and your primary job is to build relationships, maybe you'll spend an hour on it. Maybe you'll spend 2 hours on it. But I'm talking about being proactive, because when you're proactive, then you need to be reactive to the things that happen. If I send 100 messages out, proactively, or I have somebody do it for me, then the reactiveness of that is 20 people might respond. And if 20 people respond, I'm busy being reactive. Maybe I'll have an admin do it for me, right? Which makes more sense. By the way, if you don't have an admin, you are an admin. Because we all have admin work that we need to do. So you can hire somebody for $5 or $10 an hour, or even $20 an hour to do work for you. It's administrative work. And I highly recommend you all hire somebody for an hour a day to help you do some administrative work. And some of that is being reactive on LinkedIn. Okay.
You hire somebody for $5 an hour to respond?
To help you do very specific processes. You write the process down. It could be respond. If somebody says they want to schedule a call with me, respond specifically. Here's my calendar. This is how to do it, blah, 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 whatever.
But you already have preset messages.
You have to have everything preset. For somebody $5 an hour, they're a robot. That's what they are. Okay? So personal brand versus business brand. This is something I want to say to a lot of people. You guys want to say something? You can share it. What? Okay, personal brand versus business brand. So I have a whole list of things that I want to talk about today. I don't know that I'm going to get to all of them. I want to make sure I respect all of your times. I know that you need to leave in 50 minutes. I want to try to get done as much as possible. They need to leave in 50 minutes. 50, okay. So I'm going to be done in 50 minutes. I'm going to go through a lot of things, and you're going to have a lot of questions. Write your questions down. These are questions that I want. These are gems that I want, and I want to engage with you. But we just spent a lot of time just on LinkedIn alone, and I literally have another 20-something things that I can talk about today. So let's talk about personal brand versus business brand. A lot of people don't realize this, but people are spending 8 hours a day on social media. I said this already today, right? Where are they spending 96% of their time? Looking at brands' content, or are they looking at people's content? The reality is they're looking at people's content. They're not looking at brands' content. They're looking at people's content. On Instagram might be a little bit different, but generally, I'm talking about on LinkedIn specifically, they're looking at what people are posting, not what brands are posting on LinkedIn. So if you don't have a personal brand on LinkedIn and you're not posting as yourself as a human being, you're missing out on all that attention. Some people want to hide behind their brand, and I used to be that person. I wanted to hide behind Ajax Union. I didn't want anyone to know who I am. I want anyone to, God forbid, know where I live, or know what I do, or know what I think, or I was scared. I had a lot of fear. Fear of the unknown, fear of very specific things, but the reality is when I started being more confident with me and being more complete with who I am as an individual, I started being able to be more comfortable putting myself out there and realizing that I was afraid of judgment, that I was afraid of being overwhelmed with what people would say about me. And the truth is other people's opinions are none of your business. And so you just got to just be your true self, have integrity, live to your values, and you're going to be able to have a great life. So putting myself out there allowed me to connect with so many more people. I used to be self-conscious about my beard and yarmulke. I used to be afraid that Goyim wouldn't want to do business with me. And as a matter of fact, I'll walk around in Greece with 1,000 CEOs there, and they'll be like, holy crap, I respect that guy. He's walking in Greece with a yarmulke and a beard, where he's at risk of getting killed because he's Jewish. Wow, I respect that guy. I want to do business with that guy. But I thought it would be the opposite. I thought I would fail because I had a beard and a yarmulke. I thought people would judge me and think that I'm unprofessional. But people think I have a tremendous amount of integrity, which, by the way, I don't have that much integrity. I'm just a regular human being with a beard and a yarmulke. I happen to be born that way. That's how I grew up. But I make mistakes just like everybody else. So I have to just accept myself and love myself. And if I can love myself, I can put myself out there. And then other people want to attract to that. People want to connect with other people that love themselves because they want to be like that. Everybody wants to have confidence. Everybody wants to be a rock star. By the way, rock stars are not beautiful. Most rock stars are ugly. And they have crappy voices. But people still love them. Why? Because they're confident. Imagine they were a rock star that wasn't confident. They sheepishly walked onto stage and said, oh, I'm sorry. I'm going to play my guitar now, but I don't know. Okay, let me show you. No, everyone will be like, boo, boo, and throw things at it. But if the rock star comes up, the ugliest mother whatever in the world, and he just shows up and he has a crappy voice, but he's just killing the guitar and going crazy, everybody loves it, right? Same thing in your life, in your everyday life. If you can show your personal brand, show up with confidence, be who you really are, and show up like, even if you're not that way. Most people are not that way, but you fake it till you make it. You convince yourself your beliefs, and we're going to get into personal development, your beliefs are based on what you're telling yourself all the time. So you've been telling yourself lies that you're not good enough. Tell yourself a better lie, that you're amazing, that you're perfect the way that you are. Then don't. Live your values, be yourself. It attracts attention. If you don't want to do it, you really have to ask yourself if you have fear around it. And if you don't have fear around it and you're just not interested in it, you could hire somebody else to do it for you. But you have to have an authentic brand having a person representing you, because that's the best way to get through to people, when you have a person. You don't have to do it yourself if you don't want to. There are plenty of people that say, listen, I'm a wealthy guy, I don't want anyone to know who I am, but I'm going to hire a brand ambassador that loves the publicity or that has worked on themselves to the ability to do that. So I say hire somebody if not, but have a face to your company. Have somebody that's the face of your company. I know a guy who did $4 million last year. By the way, just selling LinkedIn training services. Nothing else. He just sells LinkedIn training services. He's on the Inc. 5000. And his personal brand's there, but he doesn't want to talk to anybody. So what he does is, he does ads, a lot of ads. He spends a lot of money on advertising, and he says, speak to my director of client strategy. He doesn't want to build a relationship. His whole business is transactional. He doesn't even post. Instead, he spends a tremendous amount. He spends millions of dollars in advertising. But if you don't have millions of dollars to spend in advertising, and you don't have a director of client strategy, a growth hack way is for you yourself to be that brand and to get out there. I'm just saying it for the people that are at 100,000, 200,000, $500,000 or $1 million or whatever, and want to be able to grow and don't necessarily have the funds to really invest in hiring somebody else to do it for them. A growth hack way to do it is to, and I just want you to understand the difference between personal brand and business brand in terms of the attention that you're getting on LinkedIn specifically.
When you say hire someone, you mean to be the face for you?
Potentially, yeah. Or have a sales rep do it for you. Be that sales rep. I have a guy who I know who does $17 million a year. He hired a sales rep, paying them $100,000 a year, and part of his job is to be the face of his company on LinkedIn. And that's it. Okay, so yeah, he might leave. He might leave, and then he takes the whole brand with him. Yeah, 100%. It's a risk, and that's why if you're afraid of that, then you make sure that you can do it yourself. Okay, B2B versus B2C. I'm not going to get into that right now because we're all B2B. We're going to talk about that. Let's talk about how to build a real relationship. A lot of people don't know how to network, and I did not know how to network. I thought that networking meant you go to a networking event, you hand everybody business cards, and you leave, and you hope for the best. Someone's going to call me, right? But building a real relationship has nothing to do with handing anybody anything. It has to do with getting to know the real person, getting to know who you really are, what's going on. People make decisions not based on logic. People are not logical human beings. We're not logical. We have logic and we like to know knowledge and we're attracted to knowledge. We're all looking for the next big idea, right? We want the idea. How do I do it? How do I do it? How do I do it? But we all have something that we know how we can do it, but we don't do it. Why don't we do it? It's because we're emotional. We're primarily emotional and we connect with people in an emotional way. Sometimes you're with somebody and you just connect with them. It just feels right, right? It just feels right. It doesn't make sense that you should be connecting with them, but it just feels good. It feels right. Why? And there's a book by Dale Carnegie called How to Win Friends and Influence People that specifically talks about the things that you can do to make you more likable as a human being. And one of those things is to smile more. When I walk into shul, I kiss the mezuzah and I give a big smile. Do you ever see me in shul smiling? You're in the same shul as me. Never see me smile. Exactly. Rabbi Gorelick comes over to me. He's like, why are you always smiling? I said, Rabbi Gorelick, because I want you to like me. I want to be more likable. So all I have to do is smile. And by the way, it makes me happier too. Physically, it makes me happier. Smiling makes you happier, and being happier makes you smile. So how do you build a real relationship is getting to know people. There are hacks to doing it, but you want to be authentic and you want to be real. You don't want to fake it, but you do want to fake it till you make it because you want to make it eventually. So build real relationships. So for example, for you guys with your store owners, really get to know them. Maybe if they're men and it's inappropriate, maybe you could bring a man with you and get to know them somehow, but just get to know some aspect of their life. Find out if they have children. Find out how many children they have. Find out what they like to do. People love to talk about what they're passionate about. If you don't know what your top clients are passionate about, you are missing out. I'm passionate about technology. I love drones. I'm crazy about drones. So when I sent one of my networking contacts a deal that she closed that she made $60,000 this quarter alone off the deal I sent her, she sent me a $500 drone. That made me very happy. Because she knows that I love technology. Think about that. Somebody else that I sent him a $100,000 deal sent me a Nordstrom's card. I'll go to Nordstrom's. I gave it to my wife. It made me even happier that I could give my wife something. But still, it didn't make me happy for myself. It wasn't a thing for me. Because I don't care about Nordstrom's. Do you guys care about Nordstrom's? Would you guys be happy if I gave you a $600 Nordstrom's card? Really?
If they have online shopping.
Maybe if they have online. Again, you're not. But maybe you guys would be really excited, right? Would you guys be more excited? Yes. Right? But if you guys got a $500 drone, how giddy would you get? Right? Look at him. He's like, right? You're about to start dancing. Think about that. Know what your clients want. Know what they're passionate about. Are they into sports? By the way, I'm not into sports. I've never been into sports. I love playing basketball. but I just don't like watching it. I love playing football. I just don't like watching it. But some people are crazy over sports. Wine. Anybody here wine fan? Anyone love wine? Two wine connoisseurs in the room. I don't like the taste of wine. I tried to taste it. I don't like the taste of beer. I don't like the taste of cigarettes. Some people like it. Some people like chewing tobacco. I just don't like it. I like water. I like running. I like motivating. Those are the things that I like doing. Other people like different things, right? So you think, I like the stock market, right? Send me a case of water. By the way, if you're going to send me a case of water, send me 7 cases of water, because I drink 300 gallons a year. I drink 300 gallons a year. That's my goal. I actually have a goal of how much water I should drink. 300 gallons a year. What's your goal? How much water would you like to drink in the next year?
This guy, Patrick Lee,
No.
he's considered an expert over networking. I've seen his class once.
Networking is powerful. It's about getting to know people for who they are. Business happens when you have 3 things. When people know you, write this down. When people know you, when people trust you, and when people like you. No one is going to do business with you if they hate you. And even if they like you, if they don't trust you, they're not going to do business with you either. And if they don't know you, how the heck could they do business with you? They don't even know that you exist. So get people to know you, trust you, and like you, and figure out, do they trust you? How do you know if somebody trusts you? How do you know? How do you build trust with somebody? How do you build trust? Keeping your word is how you build trust. When you tell somebody you're going to do something for them, and you do it, so tell people you're going to do things for them. Figure out what you're going to do for somebody and then do it for them. And you're going to build more trust. Build trust with the people that you have. Build trust. Do things for them. Figure out what they like. If they are allergic to peanut butter, please don't send them peanut butter in the Shalach Manis. I know people who send peanut butter to people that are allergic. It's crazy. I know somebody who was in Alcoholics Anonymous and got a $500 bottle of whiskey as a gift. And the guy freaked the F out. The guy freaked out. He's like, I feel like not wanting to do business with you. He's like, why? Why? Because you're about to ruin my life. I need to drink this whiskey so badly. Think about that. Instead, what do? The CEO hand-baked cookies himself. And he brought warm cookies and apologized. He brought warm cookies, and the guy started crying and kissed him. Client for life. Think about that. Different ball game. Get to know people. Network. Build relationships. Real relationships. Get to know the people for real. Often we're afraid. We're afraid to build real relationships. Because what if the client leaves and it gets awkward and we want to keep things business? But the best business relationships create the best friendships. The best friendships don't necessarily create the best business relationships. But the best business relationships create the best friendships. It happens the other way around very powerfully. So I want you to think about that and build a real relationship. Really get to know people. Like in your contacts, if you have Google contacts or whatever, write a fact about them. Write something they like. Do they prefer milchiks or fleishiks? Know that. Know that. Food is like the way that you get to people. So figure out everyone likes a certain type of food. Figure out what their favorite coffee is, how they like their coffee. Could you imagine if you went to a vendor and you brought them their favorite coffee when they came? That little gesture costs you $1, $2, or if you're going to Starbucks, $25, whatever, but you bring them their favorite coffee the way that they like it with their name on it, changes the relationship. Now they're going to start paying you first. And that's what you want. You want people to pay you first because you make a difference. Or you're doing the accounts receivable person, you do something for them. Or you know the secretary, the gatekeeper, do something for the gatekeeper that will get you first on the calendar with your most important contacts. Think about that. Get to know really people. Give first. A lot of people tell me that I'm not going to give something to somebody else until I get something. And that's not how networking works. You have to be the giver. There's a book called Go Giver by Bob Berg. Very good book, easy to read. It's a story about a guy who was very, very successful by just giving. All he did was give. Looking to give. And somebody, at one point, I said this at the seminar, and somebody's like, what about me? When do I get taken care of? Well, you also have to learn how to ask, because ask and you shall receive, but you have to be the person that gives 10 times more than you want. So if you want $1 million in new business, did you give out $10 million in new business this year? I personally have a goal to do 1,000 introductions a year. 1,000 introductions a year to people in my network. I actually track my introductions of how many I make. And I already made 1,000 introductions this year. I'm going to make another 1,000 introductions next year. I also had a goal to run 1,000 miles this year. I ran 1,000 miles. I tracked it on GPS. I'm going to run another 1,000 miles next year. Next year, I also want to set a goal to do 10,000 push-ups in the year. That's a pretty big goal for me. So I want you to think about what your goals are, what do you want to achieve from a networking standpoint, and figure out what are you going to do. I just do 3 a day. It takes 3 a day. So when I'm speaking to people, no, I'm going to do another 1,000 next year. So I did 1,000 this year. I'm not going to do another 1,000 in the next week. It's not going to happen.
No, I thought you meant you were doing 2,000.
No, I'm going to do 1,000. I don't need to go crazy. I'm going to keep a balance.
Okay.
But I know what I got out of this. I know that when I put out, then Danny, my good friend, he makes an introduction to a major company that we just submitted a $750,000 bid for doing their business, which is very likely that we're going to close for next year. One introduction I got back that was that valuable from doing 1,000. Think about that. And I got a drone, so it's amazing, right? Think about that. So I want you to put it out there. How much are you putting it out there? How much good karma are you putting out there? No, I got many more returns, but I got one that turned into such a big deal. All the other things were little deals, little things, and so on. So I really want you to think about that and really take it seriously to make it part of your daily practice to give. Make introductions. And then there's the 3 I's. How do you stay top of mind with your networking context? There's the 3 I's. Number 1 is obviously introductions, I. The second thing is information. When you find something like does anyone know how to do a primal squat? This is how you do a primal squat. Like this. Keep your heels down and you go like this. And if you can't do this, you're probably not healthy. You have to be able to do this. You have to be able to do this for 10 minutes a day. Stay in that position and really get all the way in there. It's really, really hard for a lot of people that don't ever move and just sit regular to do that. It's very hard to do that with your heels down, without shoes. With shoes, it's easier because you have a heel. Take off your shoes and try to do that. It's going to be very, very hard, mainly for men. But squatting all the way down is called a primal squat. When I found out about the primal squat and how it made me feel and how it made me much healthier because it really got my joints much more flexible, all the 3 major joints that you have down below, I started realizing that this is something I can share with other men, with other people that can do this. So when I find information like this is a great way to stay top of mind with people. So you have information that you find out. Maybe you found out about water, a fact about water. You send it to your networking contacts, and people appreciate it, especially if they trust you. Especially if they like you, they want to hear from you. So number 1 is make introductions for them, find out who they want to meet. Number 2 is send them valuable information. You're going to be getting valuable information, share that information. So if you have 100 people that are in your network, how often are you sharing information with them? I would share information at least once a month with the 100 people in my network. Think about that. And then the third thing is invitations. You go to events every once in a while, invite your top contacts with you to an event. Invite them. They may not be able to come, but you still make that invitation and it shows a gesture. Maybe to a simcha that you're going to. I like inviting people to Jewish weddings. Would you like to come with me to a wedding tonight? Do you know the people? No, I don't know the people. We can go dance. Anyone could just go dance. So it's a great place. It's around the corner from my house. It's really easy. So you just take people and go to random weddings. Maybe you don't want to do that. But, bottom line, every once in a while I'll do that. I'll say, have you ever been to a crazy Jewish wedding? They separate the men and the women, and it's insane, and the men go crazy dancing in circles. You got to see this. It's insane. They're like, let's do this. And then I just bring random people to a wedding. We dance a little bit, and then we leave. And no one knows. No one cares. You're in the mosh pit. Whatever. It's fun. Invite people to have experiences with you. I asked a Navy SEAL, I said, tell me, how do you build such tight relationships to be able to go to Afghanistan with people and really trust each other? Really, really trust each other. He's like, Hell Week. I mean, you build relationships based on experiences. And I learned that from networking is you have experiences with people. Go places, do things with people, build deep, meaningful relationships by doing things, especially with your partners. If you guys are partners and you're not having experiences together, you're missing out. Have experiences together. We did Escape the Room as a company. After we did Escape the Room, and we actually were one of the very few people that actually escaped the room in Escape the Room Brooklyn, we actually finished with 10 seconds left. Our productivity in the office was much, much better for the following few months because we learned how to kind of work with each other and we were getting on each other's nerves a little bit. We were like, shoot it already, shoot it. We got 3 seconds left. Come on, a little higher, you missed. And we were just kind of working with each other. And then we were at the end, we were all high-fiving and all excited. We finished. And the guy's like, damn, you guys finished without cheating. That's pretty cool. And it's but we were all in it working together as a team. And it was an experience that we'll never forget. Same thing with rock climbing, same thing with sailing. We did sailing recently, same thing with trapeze. Have you guys ever done trapeze? Insane. Trapeze is flying in the air like it's crazy. You guys should Google it later. It's amazing. Anyway, you do things to build relationships with people. And so building relationships with your clients, with your employees, with your team members, with your partners, with your husband, with your wife.
Between two people, you always ask, one of them, are you...
Depends on the relationship that you have. So for example, if the CEO of Google, if I'm connected to him on LinkedIn and I have no idea who he is or what he is, I'm not going to randomly introduce him to Rabbi Wordy because Rabbi Wordy wants a donation. I'm not going to do that. I may go to the CEO and say, hey, I have a rabbi that wants a donation and I know that you're a philanthropist. Would you like a connection to the rabbi? And they'll be like, hell no, I hate rabbi, or whatever. Or I might say, hell yeah, whatever it is. So I make the connection at that point. But if I have a trusted relationship with, let's say, for example, Menachem, my good friend Menachem. And Menachem, I know he wants to meet developers, right? I'm a good friend. And I met a developer in the street. I was like, you know what? I'm going to introduce you to Menachem. I'm just going to go to my email and write, introduction by Joe Applebaum. Menachem, meet Moshe. Moshe's a great developer. Menachem wants to meet developers. Take it from here, guys. Or whatever else I'll write. And boom. And I'll track it in my email with the words, introduction by Joe Applebaum. That's how I brand it. So every introduction that I make, I write, you ever got an introduction from me? It says, introduction by Joe Applebaum, : first name, meet, whatever. I do it that way so that I can search how many I did each month. And then I can say, holy crap, I didn't do 80. I'm not going to make this year. I need to make this year. And I keep preaching about it at my seminars, so then I have to hold myself accountable because otherwise I have no integrity. And then people are like, let me see. And then I show them. And they're like, holy crap. Because on Gmail it just says more, and 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 more, okay? So the answer to your question is depending on the relationship.
If you have co-owners in your network, we can help you with introductions.
Cool. Thank you. Okay, moving on. The time now is, okay, we got 30 minutes. Let's do this. I got 10 minutes. Let's do this. Okay, how to qualify a lead. This is very important. We get leads often and we waste time with leads. Anybody ever sent a proposal and then the company went AWOL, right? Happens all the time, right? Super annoying. There are 4-step process to qualify a lead. Number 1, need. So if you guys have a lead of a store owner that's not ordering from you for whatever reason, you got to take them through a 4-step process in order to know if they're actually a qualified lead. Step number 1 is determine the need. The need. Does the client actually need what you offer? Do they value what you offer? If they don't need what you offer, you can try to give them the best possible thing from today till tomorrow. You've got to establish value before you do anything, before you tell them the price. You must establish value. If there's no value, don't try to sell. Just keep the relationship and move on till you can figure out how to establish value. That's number 1.
Now, that doesn't mean that they necessarily have to know that they need it.
You can, yes, you have to establish value. That's what establishing value is. You can educate them on things that they don't even know, they didn't even know. Right, of course, you have dialogue, but you can't do that once you try to sell them, because then people hate being sold. So once you try to sell them, they'll never talk to you again. So that's why before you establish a need, never try to go to sell, ever. Now just say, you're not a qualified customer for me. And they're like, what does that mean? I'm not qualified. We need to establish that you actually need this. If not, let's just be friends. And then you never try to sell them. They're like, how come you never trying to sell me? Some guy told me recently, he's like, Joe, how come you never sold me? I'm really offended. I do 10 million in revenue. How come you never sold me? I was like, we could talk about that over a nice steak and, figure it out. Even though I don't really eat steak often, but he likes steak, so that's why I said that. I'll go there and I'll get, some avocado salad or something. It's a little healthier for me. It goes down better. So my point is establish value. When you get into a place where you no longer need to sell and you're just out there establishing value, it becomes much easier. The pressure's off. You walk into a store and you're like, hey, how are you? Good. What are you doing here? What's your goal? What are you trying to achieve? Like, why are you even asking me? Well, I'm trying to learn about your business. I want to see if I can help you. I help this store owner, that store owner. I help that supermarket or this supermarket be able to increase their value. Oh, cool. And then you just have a relationship conversation. You see there's no need. They're not interested. They don't have the money. They don't have the space for it or whatever it is. You move on. The second thing is decision maker. Often we're trying to sell to the wrong person. You think the guy behind the counter that's the cashier is a decision maker, but really he's not. You have to figure out maybe it's the investor. Maybe there's an influencer. Maybe there's somebody else involved that decides on this. So you got to learn who the decision maker is and get the need from the real decision maker versus getting the need to whoever you spoke to. Often we just basically say, oh, the person needs it. I spoke to the person, but who's the person? You got to figure out who the person is. So the second step is decision maker and then requalify your need with the right decision maker. Number 3, the third thing is budget. A lot of people are afraid to talk about budget, but budget is probably one of the most important things in the whole wide world. You have a limited amount of how much bandwidth you can handle in terms of how many clients you can have. There's a limit. There's a limit of how many times you're going to reach out or who you're going to visit and things like that in terms of your time. So you want to make sure that you focus on the people that actually can afford you, that actually have the budget or have the capacity to be able to sell that many products from you, or whatever it is. You want to figure out what their budget is. The last one is time frame. Are they going to pull the trigger in a reasonable amount of time? And most people are afraid to ask that question because it feels very pushy to ask that question. The time frame question goes something like this. If we provide you with the value that you're looking for the price that you're looking to pay, would you be willing to pull the trigger before the end of the month and make that order? Or do you want to wait a couple of months till things clear up for you so that you know how urgent it is for them? How urgent it is for them. This is a very, very important thing in the qualifying process that most people don't do. And if you don't qualify the client, that's why people ignore you. They ignore you because it's not urgent, or because the budget is too high, or because they're not the decision maker, or because there's no value, there's no need. If you go through these 4 steps, you're much more likely to know if this is a hot lead or not. And by the way, 90% of the leads that come to me are not qualified. They're not qualified, some of them, to ever do business with me. And some of them, now I also add a thing called values at the end, which do they match my values? Do I enjoy spending time with this person? Do I want them to be part of my circle? And if they're just a person who, okay, I'm not going to use any words that are coming to my mind. A lot of words are coming to my mind. But if they're not a person that I actually enjoy spending time with me, not a bad person, but doesn't share my values in terms of the type of person that they are, like a nice, kind, curious, creative, fun person, probably I'm not going to prioritize them over the people that are fun, curious, creative, hungry, whatever, the people that I'm looking to spend time with. Okay, and let's move on a little bit now to the next thing. We talked about qualifying leads. Okay, so we got a final point. So I want to ask you guys what you want to know. Do you want to know the marketing funnel? You want to know how to close leads? Do you want to know how to use a CRM? Or you want to know about personal development? Which one? Marketing funnel, closing, personal development. Personal development, I'm hearing that a lot. Personal development. You want all of them? Okay. If you guys want, okay. So I'm gonna get into CRM is very technical. It's very technical, but I can have a one-on-one with you and just teach you the CRM very quickly. Okay? So just hit me up on that. Okay? And in the marketing funnel, I have tons of videos about it. Whoever wants to know about the marketing funnel, hit me up. I'll send you a video about it. I have this really 45-minute video. It's really cool. And I have webinars also on the marketing funnel. Let's talk about personal development for a hot minute because a lot of people want to know about personal development. I have stuff on CRM, but if you want stuff on CRM, hit me up and I'll send you stuff on CRM as well. What? And closing leads also, yeah. Okay, so personal development. Step number 1, beliefs. Beliefs. Beliefs, beliefs, beliefs. There are beliefs that are driving us to either take the right actions or to take the wrong actions. And what's right and what's wrong, it's all based on our goals. Success is very personal. It's defined based on your goals. Your goal might be to make $1 million a year in profit. Your goal might be to make $100,000 a year in revenue. I don't care what your goal is. If you have a goal, know what your goal is, and then inspect your beliefs. The beliefs are literally one of the most important things that you can look at because they literally drive you to either take action or not to take action. The only thing that really makes us take action is not knowledge, because we all know things that we should be doing, but we're not, right? Have you ever known something that you should be doing, but you just don't do it? Why are you not doing it? And then you feel guilty, or you feel disappointed, or you feel inadequate, or you feel lonely. I mean, there's 10 emotions, 10 negative emotions that we end up feeling because our beliefs make us not take action. So if there's one thing in personal development that you can do today is become aware of your beliefs. The doctor's name is Dr. Sarno. Anybody heard of Dr. Sarno? Yeah. Okay? The back. So people have back pain sometimes. And then all of a sudden, through awareness, the back pain gets healed. How did that happen? They became aware that the back pain was emotional pain. And suddenly the back pain went away. Millions of people experience this. Not one person, not 7, not a crazy person. Read the book, look into it. It's a real thing. And it all has to do with our beliefs. Our beliefs can either kill us or cure us. So if you want to develop yourself personally, the first step to developing yourself personally is become aware of the disempowering beliefs. Now, what's a disempowering belief? What's a disempowering belief? A belief that disempowers you, that doesn't give you power. We want more power. We want more freedom. We want more vitality, right? When I started losing weight, I wasn't after weight loss. Most people that are after weight loss go on something called a yo-yo diet. They swing, right? Like the market's swinging like a mashugana, right? Right now it's swinging the wrong way, but eventually it might swing the right way before it really slams down. But what I want you to think about is, what are your disempowering beliefs? There are beliefs that we believe about ourselves that we've been given as a gift when we were little. And this gift has served us until right now, but they're not going to serve us to get to the next level. So I want you to inspect what those beliefs are. And a hint that you have the beliefs that are disempowering is if you have one of the 10 emotions that you feel in your life right now that are making you suffer. There are 10 emotions that are negative emotions, and you can replace them with positive emotions if you have the right beliefs. The first emotion, should I go through all 10, or should we? Okay. Anyway, I have a 15-minute motivation video on the 10, but the first one is discomfort, and my favorite one is frustration. So I'm just going to go through discomfort and frustration. When you're uncomfortable with something, there's a belief that you have that's keeping you there. And if you want to be able to have more comfort and more freedom and more power, you got to figure out, what is the belief that's stopping me? So I met this man, he's 400 pounds. 400 pounds. I met him at an event. By the way, since we met, he lost 50, he wrote in the motivation group, he lost 15 pounds since we met. And he bought my book. He paid $20 for the book, and I signed it for him. Anyway, the crazy thing is, he had a belief that he loves donuts and that he hates salad. That was his belief that he had. He also wanted, he said, I should really lose weight because my doctor says I'm like literally on my deathbed right now. 400 pounds. Man, huge. I was 265 and I was huge. He's huger than huge. He basically ate me when I was at my height. Right? So think about that. And he's literally, and there's a lot of things, a lot of baggage going on. I don't want to share the baggage because you might find out who he is. But regardless, I told him, very, very simple. Do you want to change your business? Do you want to change your life? Do you want to change your marriage? Do you want to change everything? Change that one belief and see how you can change that belief of I love donuts, I hate salad, to I hate donuts, I love salad. So he's like, how is that even possible? It's impossible to do that. I said, that's a belief. He's like, what does that mean? It's a fact. He's like, it's a fact! And he starts getting angry at me. I love donuts! I was like, look at the intensity. You have so much intensity. It's not actually a belief, it's a conviction. Some people have a next level belief. It's such a strong belief in our heart that it's actually a conviction. If somebody tells you that you don't believe, that you actually believe that it's a belief, that it's in your mind, you're actually going to get angry. And that anger is a sign that they're actually challenging something that's really, really core. There are places that people call cults where they teach you how to have new empowering beliefs. There are places like that. And that rewires your whole system. And sometimes it messes up with things that are super core. So you want to make sure that you're very careful here and that you use hashkafa and that you use halacha, if that's a value that you have, to make sure that you take care of your beliefs, but know that every single thing you have in your life, whether you have integrity or you don't have integrity, I'm not talking about morality, I'm talking about, do things work in your business? Do things work in your personal life? Do things work in your health? Do things work for yourself? When you get up in the morning, do you feel absolutely complete, confident, happy, in the moment? If not, if you're feeling discomfort, if you're feeling hurt, if you're feeling pain, if you're feeling lonely, if you're feeling these feelings, it has to do with your beliefs. So I want you to identify the core beliefs. And by the way, he changed his belief around. He said, I hate donuts. I said, more intensity. He's like, I hate donuts. And the whole Hanukkah, he hasn't tried a donut. First time in 25 years that he hasn't tried a donut in Hanukkah. He used to literally eat a dozen donuts every single night. Hanukkah, I got to eat a dozen donuts, right? And he lost 15 pounds. And not only that, he had to change another belief that he said he used to believe that it's going to be very hard to lose weight. I said, you got to change that belief. You got to tell me it's easy. And you got to WhatsApp me every day, it's easy, and it's getting easier. It's easy, and it's getting easier. It's easy, and it's getting easier. And if you repeat something over and over and over, what happens? You not only start believing it, you start having a conviction that it's true. You start having a conviction that I used to hate water. I loved Snapple. I had 6 Snapples a day. I loved the way that the Snapple popped when I opened up and I loved reading the joke and giggling with my fat, jiggly body. I loved it. But now I hate Snapple. I hate Snapple! With intensity. And that becomes part of my fibers of my being. Think about that. When you have that much intensity, that's what makes you take action. And when you come from there, you become unstoppable. Thank you.
Does time management have what to do with all that?
Beliefs. It's all beliefs. It's all beliefs. Most people say, I don't have time. Somebody just literally was sitting in front of me.
You're saying just by saying the words?
No, it's not just saying the words. With intensity.
But just by saying the words with intensity, like just by actually
It's
vocalizing
and then taking right away action. And then taking right away action. You wouldn't reinforce it.
By actually going through the math first
So I'm going to give you the 3 steps. I'm going to give you the 3 steps. 3 steps. Belief, action, results. Belief, action, results. Write this down. Belief, action, results. Belief, action, results. These are the 3 steps. Belief, action, results. Belief, action, results. What creates action? Beliefs. What creates results? Action. What creates beliefs? Results. The more results you have, the more action you take. So you just have to do ha'maaseh hu what? Ha'maaseh hu ha'ikar, which means you just have to do. You have to do. Even if you don't believe you do, saying is doing, right? Machshava dibur ma'aseh, saying is doing. It's a form of doing. But actually you have to take action. If you take action and you start doing, you'll end up getting the results that you want, which will create a stronger belief, which will turn hopefully from an opinion to a belief to a conviction, which will literally make you unstoppable.
So what did you know what Sarah was saying about time management?
Time management. Somebody came to me and he said, Joe, I don't have time. I wish I had another 48 hours in the day. I wish we had another 40 hours in the day. I said, you have plenty of time. You have the same amount of time as Warren Buffett. He's like, you're $1 billion in debt. He's $1 billion the other way, right? So what's going on? What's the difference? I said, the difference is your priorities, not your time. Everybody has the same amount of time. The difference is learning how to say no. Learning how to say no. Putting a better gatekeeper, a better doorman on your day, on your time. We all have the same amount of time. The question is, what do you believe about your time? Do you believe that you have to take care of your kids? Or do you believe that if you have a business, you can hire someone to help you take care of them better than you could ever take care of them? I know for a long time I thought that I had to be there the whole time for my kids. And then I realized if I hired someone to actually give them what they want and I didn't ignore them on my phone the whole time and they had everything they needed, but then I gave them intentional time every single week where one-on-one I connected with my daughter and we went for a long walk, it would be much better than if I was there the whole time on my phone but I couldn't give her attention because I didn't hire somebody to help me. Whatever. Beliefs. They make more time, they make more happiness, and they change your life. Thank you.